Everybody stand up for just 1 second. Let's do something really, really fun. Actually, this is going to be amazing. Might not be amazing for you, but it will be amazing for me. All right, so I want you to pretend that I am like this rock star that you've been waiting in line for hours to see, okay? So everybody just start cheering as loud as you can for, all right. All right, thank you. Now, what I just did is I just took a little selfie, and I'm gonna post that on Facebook, and everybody will just think that I got this roaring standing ovation here at Affiliate Summit, so thank you very much, I appreciate that. My name is E. Brian Rose. I am the founder of JVZoo.com. Anybody here heard of JVZoo? All right, everybody use JVZoo? All right, thank you, I appreciate that. JVZoo is an affiliate platform where we match vendors of digital downloadable products with affiliates. We have hundreds of thousands of affiliates, so if you haven't checked it out, check it out. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're going to talk about today is something that's fun. It's called expert fame. Who here has any inkling of what expert fame is? Nobody. Good. So first of all, let's break it down a bit. Okay, fame, the word fame, what does fame mean? When you think of famous people, most people think of, the movie star or the athlete or somebody like that. Well, I'm not going to make you a professional athlete today. Okay, so don't get your hopes up. You're not going to be a movie star. Although my wife was just an extra in the Matt Damon movie at Aria just about an hour ago, so that was very cool. I'm not going to make you an athlete. I'm not going to make you a movie star. What we're going to talk about is expert fame. And what is expert fame? Who can tell me who this person is? Susie Orman. Susie Orman is known in the financial world. Why? Because she puts out a lot of good information, whether on TV, on the internet, in magazines, in books that she writes. What about this guy? Bob Vila. Bob Vila has been around for 3 decades now, telling people how to fix up their houses. And those of you in the internet marketing industry might recognize this guy, Frank Kern. Frank Kern is what you call expert famous in our industry because he puts out a lot of content and everybody absorbs that content and just thinks, hey, he must know what he's talking about. So what is expert fame? Expert fame is when you are so well ingrained in your niche that when people want answers, they turn to you. When they want a recommendation for somebody, they turn to you. When they want to buy something in your industry, they turn to you. So expert fame actually equals a little bit of money if you work it the right way. People are information junkies. Who here has gotten lost on the internet, when you're searching for something? And I'm the one, and she says never. I'll be searching for something work-related, and I'll go down the rabbit hole. I'll end up figuring out. I learned last week how birds have sex. I was looking for new SEO strategies. People are information junkies, and if you're like me and you kind of have internet ADD, you'll be doing some research or doing some work, and you end up in like 9 or 10 different directions, and you're like, oh my God, I just wasted 3 hours of my time learning the mating habits of birds. If it's a bad economy, people are looking for information on how do I get money? How do I get a job? And they're willing to pay for this information. Believe me, I am in the information brokering business, and business is good. So I'm going to tell you a few stories here today about how you can kind of rise up above the rest and get recognized kind of as that expert famous person in whatever industry that you're in. So this is the story of my friend Wayne Allen Root. Wayne Root lives here in Las Vegas, and he started out as a sports tout. Everybody know what a sports tout is? Sports tout is the person that you would dial an 800 number, give them your credit card numbers, and they will tell you who's going to win the game on Saturday. And then you go to your bookie or go to the sports place and place your bets based on what he has said. He used to have a Saturday morning Saturday morning TV show that had all the ex-football coaches. I'm sure you guys have seen it. And they'd call 1-900, blah, 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 I'll tell you who's going to win this weekend. And he made a big reputation, big name for himself in that industry. And then he became the vice presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party. Makes sense, right? So he did make that transition into politics, and he was actually on the ballot against Barack Obama in 2008. Before that, when he was expert famous in the sports touting industry, he even got a Las Vegas Walk of Fame star. So I don't even know where it is, but it was kind of a big deal when he got it. But somewhere in Las Vegas, there's like the Hollywood stars, and he has one of them. And one of the things that people called him, the only thing people ever called him, was King of Vegas. And I don't know if you can see it right above his name on the star. It even says King of Vegas. So we used to have lunch when I lived out here about once a month. And we went to New York one day, and we were having lunch. And I had just read an article about Wayne Root in the New York Times, I think it was, and it said, hanging with the King of Vegas. And I said, Wayne, everybody calls you the King of Vegas. Please tell me, who first started calling you that? And he looks around like, I guess he didn't want the waitresses to hear what he was about to say, and like it was this big secret, and he leans towards me, he goes, you don't know? I did. And it was the simplest lesson that I've ever learned in my entire life, like just, one of those slap your head and say, why didn't I think of that? He called himself King of Vegas. So my first tip for you today is to call yourself what you want others to call you whenever you're putting content out. So I'm going to give you a little example. I got ahead of myself there. I got home and I said, man, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to call myself something that I'm going to have everybody start calling me, and that's going to really work. So I had this webinar teaching instruction program that I was putting out in about 2 weeks. And I had lined up about 100 affiliates. Some of them had 500 people on their list. Some people had 10,000 people on their lists. And I created what's called swipe file. Anybody know what swipe files are? That's when the creator of a product will kind of write a sample email for the affiliates that they can either copy and paste and send out to their lists with their affiliate link, or they can change it up a little bit. But usually, they keep it kind of the same, take the bullet points out of there. So I wanted to think of something, a really original name that I wanted all these people, these 100 affiliates, to mail out to their list. And we're talking tens and tens of thousands collectively of people that are going to be reading this email. So I wanted to take that lesson that I learned from the King of Vegas, and I wanted it to be really, really original. So I thought, what can I call myself that is so original? Oh yeah, the King of Webinars. Okay, it wasn't that original, but it's all I could think of at the time. So when that product came out, the very first review I received said, E. Brian Rose is the webinar king. There's no one out there that knows webinars like he does. And I started seeing reviews pop up all over the place calling me the king of webinars, because I pretty much told them I was the king of webinars. And it stuck with me. For about 2 years, I wore that title and sold a lot of products. And I don't think that I had the best teaching material out there. I think there were people that had better stuff out there. I think there were people that had better products out there. But I was getting most of the sales when everybody was looking for webinar stuff. And it was that simple little thing, call yourself what you want others to call you. I called myself the king of webinars, and everybody just automatically thought, this guy's the best there is. And it worked. So that's first tip for you, call yourself what you want others to call you. Who can tell me who this man is? Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins been in a bunch of movies. He was in that what was that movie where Shallow Hal? Yeah, he was in Shallow Hal. He's been in a few movies actually. One day when I was down that little rabbit hole of searching for stupid stuff on the internet, I thought, hey, how did Tony Robbins first get famous? So I typed into Google, how did Tony Robbins get famous? And I came up with this Quora page. Quora, for those of you that don't know, is a kind of like a Yahoo Answers, where you can just ask a question and a bunch of people in the community will give you their answers. So I found this page, how did Tony Robbins get famous? Somebody had already asked that question. And I went through some of the answers. And this is the first guy. Tony became famous because by having a passion for what he does and pursuing it with vigor. Has an amazing capacity for blah, blah, blah. I just thought, no, that's not it. That can't be it. So I went on to the next one. And this person, anonymous, didn't have a name, said, masterful manipulation of the masses. Oh yeah, that must have been it. No, I don't think that was it. Joyce Gibson said, firewalking. I'm sure that played a part in it. You know, side note, has anybody ever been to one of those firewalking events? You have. Did you see the ambulances that were lined up? They have like 16 ambulances that they bring into all those events because somebody, every single time, is walking across and decides to stop. And they get a free ride to the hospital after that. So don't stop if you go to a Tony Robbins event. But I didn't think firewalking was how he got famous. Then I came across this answer from Benji Bruce, who is a big speaker on the circuit, and he said, Tony became famous because of his infomercial. Think about that. Tony became famous because of his infomercial. And it's a cool story, too. He didn't have much money. He didn't have any money to buy these commercials, so he found an investor who put up 97% of the money. He had this cool product that he wanted to get out there, this information product, that basically, it was self-help type stuff, rah-rah, foo-foo stuff, I guess. And he thought it was a great product that people would buy, but he needed the money to buy these infomercials. So he got somebody to put up 97% of the money, and these infomercials ran for 5 years at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Who has seen a Tony Robbins infomercial here? And very few of you, surprisingly. They ran for years in the late 80s, early 90s. You'd be flipping through your channels. You didn't have channel guides back then. You had to actually take your remote control, and even before that, you had to get up and turn the station. I know some people can't even fathom that. But you would flip through the channels and you'd see, oh, look at these guys walking on coal. I'll check this out. And that's how Tony Robbins got famous. And Tony Robbins' products sold millions and millions and millions of copies, generating millions and millions and millions of dollars. And they also paid out millions and millions of dollars in advertising time to get these infomercials on the air every single night in virtually every city across North America. And at the end of these 5 or 6 year run, what did Tony have? Tony had 97% of the money go over here, so he had 3% of the profits. So Tony wasn't rich, but he had one thing. What did Tony Robbins have at the end of these 5 years? Expert fame, that's right. So now when Tony walks into a room and he says, hey, you know me? And everybody says yes. And then he says, well, buy my shit. And everybody says yes. Expert fame brings money. So imagine this, okay. Little old ladies that can't sleep at night are flipping through the channel. Is that Tony's target audience? No, but they watched it. All these people that bought this product just happened to find these infomercials by chance. Think of how many people watched these infomercials that just could care less about Tony Robbins or the product. It was the most untargeted marketing you could possibly do. Hey, we're gonna buy an ad at 3 o'clock in the morning, and whoever's up, hopefully they'll flip on our channel, and hopefully out of those people, they'll buy my stuff. That's as untargeted as they come. So Facebook came along, and Facebook gives us something that is so much better than infomercials. Who here does webinars? Let me tell you, if you're not doing webinars in whatever industry you're in, you need to start doing webinars. And Facebook combined with webinars is the new infomercial. And it's 1,000 times better than what Tony Robbins had. Anybody ever seen ads like this on their Facebook feed where you click on the sponsored ads? Here's one for how to create successful online video. That one was 7 strategies to get your business up and running on Facebook. We've all seen ads like this, right? Here's another one, massive media exposure. Get visibility and big profits. That's you?
That's my friend.
That's your friend? Okay. Well, have you ever clicked on your friend's ad?
Yes.
And you'd see something like that, right? This is beautiful. Okay, so a lot of these are all webinars. Okay, you click on them and you get to a registration page that looks similar to this. But oh my God, it's so much better than that these days. 5 years ago, you had to schedule the time when you're gonna do this live webinar. These days, you can simulate live and do just like Tony Robbins did. In case you didn't know, those infomercials weren't live. He wasn't doing this every night. So neither do webinars have to be live. You can target your audience right down to the gender, where they live, what their income is, what color their cat is, whatever you want to target, you can target your audience and only spend money on the people that are interested in your products or your services through Facebook ads. Now, this is a really cool thing that Diane does. This is called just in time. When you click on her ad right here, you get to this registration page, but every time you get there, oh my God, I'm just in time. The webinar starts in 1 minute and 42 seconds. Imagine that. Does it work with retail products? That's the next room over. This, no, retail products, very different animal than marketing online. This is for folks that have services, whether you are telling people how to start retail businesses, that'll work. But any type of information that you're selling online, any type of services that you're selling online, and it doesn't have to be an online service. It's just if you're marketing to your people online. So yeah, there is a way to encompass this into retail, but really not we can talk about that afterwards, absolutely. So the just-in-time feature is very, very cool. It allows you to automate your webinars in a way that Tony Robbins could never automate his infomercials. They were scheduled based on the time that he purchased, and hopefully somebody interested in his stuff would stumble upon it. Now you can target it. It doesn't get any better than that. And if you click on her ad, it starts in 1 minute and 42 seconds every time. Facebook lets you automate your success like that. How many people have autoresponders for their emails? Autoresponders are awesome. When this came, it changed everything. You have your leads sign up for your autoresponder, and then you just set up a funnel where on day 1 they get this email, on day 3 they get this email, day 5, and so on and so forth, and keep going until they actually buy. And then when they buy, they automatically get put onto a different list. If you automate your emails, automate your webinars as well. You can do that. It's like being an infomercial king without spending tens and thousands of dollars every single week. It lets you target your audience for pennies. And the advertising exposure that you get, I mean, you might laugh at this, but Tony Robbins became famous because of his commercials. So if you start having ads at your target audience that are constantly in their Facebook feed, news feed, eventually people are going to start believing what you're saying, whether you're the king of webinars or the king of name something.
Elder care.
Elder care, the king of elder care. Queen of elder care. Whatever you're telling the people that you are in these ads, it resonates with them. So Facebook ads combined with webinars are the new infomercial and the one that everybody can afford, every business. So now let's talk about some things that you can do to actually get yourself seen on the internet, to get yourself looked at as that expert, famous person. So first thing you got to do is say, you know what? I want to put myself out there. I want to be known for elder care or whatever it is that you do. What do people see how many people have Googled themselves? Whoever's not raising their hand is just telling a fib right now. Everybody has Googled themselves. What do you see when people Google you? So when I was first starting out and nobody knew my name, this is what they would see. First one's my website, which has my name in it, my Twitter account, my LinkedIn, Facebook account, a chat forum name. I used my name, my real name for all of these accounts because these have heavy weight in Google and I wanted them to jump at the top. Chat forum account, a YouTube video that had my name in it, a YouTube video that somebody interviewed me, my Google Plus account, and this bottom one is my favorite one. This was from a couple of years ago. This was my Google of myself. It says, E. Brian Rose Small Business Influencer Awards 2013. So when people are Googling me, they see, oh, this guy got nominated for a small business award. He must really know what he's doing. The coolest part about that is who nominated me. Why? Okay, yeah. I did, of course. You know, there's a lot of different business awards that you can nominate yourself for, or have a friend nominate you if you don't want to do it yourself. A spouse, a kid, whoever. There's a lot of business awards out there that you can nominate yourself for, and they have heavy weight in Google. So if you're just starting out in your industry and you want to make a name for yourself, that is a good way to do it. And you know what? You could win too, and that's even better if you win. So that's a cool trick that I used. It's all about what? Perceived value. Let me ask a question. Would you rather have the best product or service out there, or be perceived as having the best product or service out there? That's a real question. A or B? Raise your hand, A. Raise your hand, B. You don't have to have the best product out there. You don't have to have the best service out there. You just have to make the people believe that you do. And once they do, the money starts flowing and you can work on the product and make it better. Did you agree with that? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Why would you want to be subpar? You wouldn't want to be subpar, but you don't start out the best. Nobody starts out the best. You eventually get to the best. But it's better to be known as the best on your way up. If you try right? The best, sometimes you get stuck where you don't move forward. She's going to take you out in the hall and tell you all about it. My little helper. So here's a cool trick that I did when I first started getting my name out there. Distribute press releases for everything that you do. Everything in your business, write a press release and distribute it. And you don't have to pay big bucks for this. There's plenty of free press release distribution places on the internet. Just Google press release distribution free, and you'll find hundreds of them out there. And a lot of them have a really good weight in Google. The old idea for press releases was to get press, and yeah, it'd be great if you got some press, but right now we're using it for what we call SEO, search engine optimization. When they search for your business name, when they search for your name, they start seeing these press releases show up. You can write a press release for anything in your business, a new hire, a new fire, a new product line, a new improved product line, an idea that you're doing, a new partnership, anything, you can just write press releases about it. And people start seeing these press releases, and they're like, wow, this guy must be famous. This girl must really know, she must be important. They're writing press releases about her. How about this one? What's your name? Laurie. Laurie Miller will be attending Affiliate Summit in Las Vegas. That's a press release. And then you can start dropping names of some of the big keynote speakers that are going to be speaking tomorrow and say, also attending are these people. And then you have this association. Laurie Miller hangs with like the really famous people. She must be, let me check her out. Let me Google her. Oh my God, here's a press release about her taking a shower. Okay, don't go that far. But that's a cool trick. Distribute press releases about yourself. Hey, here's a cool one. Find bloggers that blog about your industry, the stuff that you do, whatever niche you're in. Find bloggers. There's bloggers. I don't care what you do. There's bloggers. Interview yourself, and then send it to them. And then all they have to do is say, hey, I sat down with Laurie Miller the other day, and here's what we had to say. And then at the end, it was great seeing you, Laurie. Believe me, who has a blog here? One of the hardest things is coming up with content day in and day out, am I right? So when someone hands you something on a silver platter like an interview, you might just copy and paste that right into your little WordPress, right? Who wouldn't do that? If it's a good interview, make it a good interview. Ask yourself tough questions and answer the hardball questions, right? I can. Here's another tip for you. I have a heckler in the front row. Master the Lorenzo von Matterhorn. Who here knows who Lorenzo von Matterhorn is? One person. Two people. Who knows who this is? It's Barney, that's right. That's Barney Stinson from a TV show called How I Met Your Mother. And on the show, Neil Patrick Harris played Barney, and Barney was a real ladies' man. Obviously not in real life. But on the show, he was a ladies' man, and he had what was called the playbook. And this playbook was filled with ways to pick up chicks. And every episode in the first few seasons, he would do a play out of the playbook. And one of the greatest plays that he ever ran was called the Lorenzo von Matterhorn. Let me tell you what he did. He created the name Lorenzo von Matterhorn because he Googled it and it didn't exist. So he knew that anything he put out there was going to rank well in Google. So he created this persona called Lorenzo von Matterhorn, and he made fake websites. This one was bigbusinessjournal.com, and it actually exists if you want to write it down and check it out later. It's still there. And it was a bio of Lorenzo von Matterhorn that said he was so rich he should be a villain in a James Bond movie. There was another one called Extremities Weekly that said he was too big for surgery to be an option. So what did he do with these websites? Well, he used them to pick up chicks. He would walk into a bar and say, "Yeah, it's me." And they'd be like, "What are you, famous or something?" "Yeah." "Well, what's your name?" And he'd tell them the name, and then he'd excuse himself. And what do? They pull out their phone and they start Googling him. And they're like, "Oh my God, this guy's super famous and super rich." Well, I'm not saying to make up something like that, unless you want to pick up women, because it does work. That's my next speech. It does work. Creating a persona. Yourself can be your own persona. You got to create the persona for your product or yourself. You create the persona. You can create websites, actually. When I first got started in internet marketing, I created a website of the top 10 internet marketers, and I think it was called Top 10 Internet Marketers 2008.com or something like that. And when people Googled this and found it, they found like Frank Kern, Mike Filsame, E. Brian Rose. I put myself in the list, created that. I used to sell hearing aids online. And I actually was buying Siemens hearing aids and relabeling them with my own private label. I wasn't allowed to use the Siemens name, but these were the same Siemens hearing aids that audiologists were selling for $4,000. I was able to sell them for a few $100s as long as I private labeled them. But the problem was nobody had ever heard of Rosebud hearing aids. So what I did was I created a bunch of stores, not just my own storefront, a bunch of stores with higher prices than what I was paying. I also created a PDF that I used it as a lead generator, put your email address in, and download the best, most affordable hearing aids online. And I was always number one on that, and I actually paid for advertising from that. So I kind of used the Lorenzo von Matterhorn for that, and you can use it for any service, whatever you do. The Lorenzo von Matterhorn works. So we call it seeding the web. Seed the web with wonderful things about yourself. You know, don't do what Barney did and make it all fake, make it true. But seeding the web is how you get out there. I'm trying to go through this really quickly. I've never done a 25-minute talk before. Content. People ask me all the time, "Hey, what kind of content can I put out there?" I sell my content, or I sell my coaching. I don't want to give it all away on blog posts. I don't want to give it all away on Facebook posts. Well, let me tell you this. Content, that's your advertisement. But you could put it out in bits and pieces here and there. When people come to your blog site, when people read your content, your Facebook, your Twitter posts, whatever you're linking to, if you're putting out just mundane stuff, then they're not going to buy anything from you. Put out your best stuff, always, because that's your advertisement. And they're telling me time's up, so I'm just going to rush through these things. Is that cool with you? Okay, they're telling me time's up. When you put your persona out there, be known for one thing. You can't be a jack of all trades. You can't be expert famous in everything. And I'll use an analogy of an internet marketing type person. You can't be the best at webinars, the best at SEO, the best at this or that. You can't be the best of everything. Pick one thing and be repetitious with your content. Put it out there. Be repetitive. You know, if you were in the credit score industry, you might put out blog posts that say, 10 tips to raise your credit score, how to quickly raise your credit score, John Smith's secrets to better credit score. It's the same ingredients, right? With just delivered a different way, like Mexican food. Be repetitive with your content in your social media posts, in your blog posts, and in your bios. And when you're on Facebook and Twitter, you also have to be engaging. Engage your audiences as much as possible. Because if you're on social media and you're not being social, you're doing it wrong. Right? It's social media. Be social. Put on your reporter hat also. Tell what the industry is doing. And people will ask you questions. The more content you put out there, the more you ingrain into their heads that I am the best and most knowledgeable person in my business, the more they will believe it. Am I right? Can I get an amen? All right. Hey, be controversial, share secrets. People love that. It's engaging. They like to see what's behind the curtain. That is a great tip for your blogs, for your social media posting. You can debate too, but do it nicely. It's one thing to say when somebody gives an answer that you really don't agree with, if your response is, yeah, maybe if it was 1999, you idiot, there's a better way of saying that. Hey, maybe here's how I would do it. Debate, but do it nicely. And toot your own horn, that's good too, because, if you're not tooting it in the beginning, nobody else will. It's okay to toot your own horn. Hey, we had a great day today. We had the best weekend ever. We sold more widgets than we've ever sold before. What's wrong with saying that, right? When JVZoo hit $70 million in sales a couple of years ago, I posted this. Within 5 minutes, 281 likes. People love to hear that you're succeeding. It instills confidence in them also. Here's my last tip for you. The association factor. This is really cool. Way back before this lifetime, they're giving me the time sign again. I'm such a rebel. I wanted to build a website in the poker industry. And I couldn't play poker. I was terrible. So I found Daniel Negreanu and had him create a forum, the Ask Daniel forum. And all of a sudden, everybody in the poker industry thought I was like this awesome poker player, and everybody was coming to my websites. Anyway, the gist of that is associate with people that you want to be associated with. Get expert fame from that. Guys, I'd love to go on more and more for you, but they are now they have 3 people holding signs up. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate your time.